The stars shone brightly against the black void as Lieutenant Commander Jack Wells stared out the viewport of the UES Dauntless. His ship patrolled the outer edges of Jupiter's orbit, a quiet post most days. Earth year 2157 had been peaceful so far. The United Earth Defense Force maintained only a modest presence in the solar system. Most of humanity's military focus stayed on Earth's own problems and conflicts. Jack sipped his coffee and checked the scanner readings again. Nothing unusual, just another quiet day in space. Then the alarm blared. "Commander Wells to the bridge immediately," the ship's AI announced over the comm system. Jack rushed to the bridge, his heart racing. The main screen showed a massive object that had appeared near Pluto's orbit. "What is that?" he asked the sensor officer. "Unknown vessel, sir. It just appeared. No warning. Nothing like we've ever seen before." The ship was enormous, at least 5 times the size of the Dauntless. Its sleek purple hull gleamed in the distant sunlight. "Open a channel," Jack ordered. Standard greeting protocol. For 3 tense days, the Dauntless observed the alien vessel from a safe distance. More Earth ships arrived to support. The World Council sent their best team to make first contact. Dr. Amanda Peterson was the top xenolinguist on Earth. She had studied theoretical alien communication patterns for 15 years. Now she would put her knowledge to real use. Captain Zachary Moore led the diplomatic team. He had a calm voice and steady nerves. "Remember," Amanda told the team as they prepared to board the contact shuttle, "we know nothing about their culture. We must be careful with every word and gesture." The alien ship allowed the small human shuttle to dock. The team entered a vast chamber with high ceilings and strange purple light. The air smelled like cinnamon and metal. 3 tall figures entered from the other side. They had 4 arms each, scaly blue skin, and large eyes that never seemed to blink. They wore ornate armor with symbols that shifted and changed. "Greetings from Earth," Captain Moore said, making the universal peace gesture they had prepared. A machine near the aliens hummed, then spoke in a flat voice. "The Calthorian Empire acknowledges your presence, simple beings." Amanda carefully explained that Earth wished to establish peaceful relations. The aliens listened but didn't seem impressed. "You control only one planet?" the lead alien asked through the translator. "Yes, but we have begun exploring our solar system," Moore answered. The aliens made a sound like stones grinding together. Later, Amanda would realize this was their laughter. "The mighty Calthorian Empire spans 3,000 worlds across 7 galaxies," the alien said. "We are willing to accept your surrender and submission now." Moore frowned. "We're not here to surrender. We want peaceful exchange between equals." The aliens grew still. "Equals? Your species is young and weak. We offer you the honor of joining our empire as a protectorate race." "We respectfully decline," Moore said firmly. "Earth governs itself." The meeting continued for hours. The humans tried to explain Earth's position, while the Calthorians grew increasingly frustrated. "Your caution shows weakness," the alien leader finally said. "Perhaps you need demonstration of imperial might to understand your position." Before anyone could respond, the alien pressed something on his armor. A hologram appeared showing an Earth orbital research station near the moon. "This primitive structure, you value it." "That's Science Station Delta," Amanda gasped. "There are 300 people on board." "Watch," the alien said coldly. On the hologram, a beam of light flashed from somewhere in space. The station exploded in a ball of fire. "Communications are reporting Station Delta has been destroyed." Jack's voice came through on Moore's earpiece. "No survivors detected." Moore's face went pale. "You just committed an act of war." The alien leader seemed unbothered. "No, we simply removed an insignificant obstacle. Now you understand what awaits if you resist. The Calthorian Empire will return in 3 of your Earth days to accept your planet's formal surrender." As the human delegation was escorted back to their shuttle, Amanda whispered to Moore, "They don't understand humans at all, do they?" Moore's eyes were hard as steel. No, and that will be their biggest mistake. 3 days passed quickly. Earth did not surrender. Instead, every military vessel in the solar system moved into defensive positions. Major Susan Clark stood at her command post on Orbital Defense Platform Alpha, watching her screens carefully. She had been in the military for 15 years, but never had she faced anything like this. All weapons systems online reported her second in command. Defense grid is at full power. Susan nodded. Keep all channels open to Admiral Foster. In his flagship, the UES Challenger, Admiral Alan Foster coordinated Earth's space defense. They had only 37 combat-ready ships. Not much against an empire that claimed to control thousands of worlds. Enemy ships detected, announced the sensor officer. 30 vessels entering the solar system near Neptune's orbit. Just 30? Asked Foster, surprised. He had expected hundreds. The Calthorian ships moved with confidence toward Earth. They were large and shaped like arrowheads, their purple hulls gleaming. Each one was bigger than anything humans had built. Their weapons were strange, some kind of energy beams that glowed green. "They're sending a message," said the communications officer. On the main screen, a Calthorian appeared. It was the same commander from the first meeting. "This is Lord Xalthrak of the Calthorian Empire," the alien said. "Your time to surrender peacefully has ended. We will now take your world by force. Resistance will only bring more suffering." Foster stood tall. "This is Admiral Alan Foster of Earth. We reject your demands and will defend our home with everything we have." The alien made that strange grinding sound, their version of laughter. "Your primitive species cannot hope to match Imperial might." The screen went dark. "They're launching fighters," Susan reported from her defense platform. "Hundreds of them." Foster gave the order all of Earth had been dreading. "All ships, engage the enemy. Defend Earth at all costs." The battle began. Calthorian fighters swarmed toward Earth's defense platforms. Their larger ships targeted Earth's small fleet. Green energy beams cut through space. "Platform Theta is down," someone reported. "Platform Gamma taking heavy damage." Susan directed her weapon systems at the incoming fighters. Earth's rail guns and missiles were less advanced than the alien weapons, but they were still deadly. Several enemy fighters exploded. On the Challenger, Foster watched as 3 Earth ships were destroyed in the first 10 minutes. But then something unexpected happened. The UES Valiant, a smaller and faster ship, managed to get close to one of the Calthorian vessels. It fired a full spread of nuclear missiles at point-blank range. The alien ship's shields flickered and failed. The massive purple warship broke apart in a blinding explosion. "They got one," cheered Foster's crew. Susan's defense platform targeted another Calthorian ship that came too close to Earth's atmosphere. Her team fired everything they had. The alien shields held at first, but gradually weakened under the constant barrage. "Keep firing," Susan ordered. The alien ship tried to retreat, but it was too late. Its shields failed, and Earth's weapons tore through its hull. Another Calthorian vessel destroyed. All across the solar system, Earth forces fought with desperate courage. They used tactics the Calthorians didn't expect, hiding behind moons, using the sun's radiation to mask missile launches, sacrificing smaller ships to protect larger ones. After 6 hours of intense fighting, 13 Calthorian ships had been destroyed. But Earth had lost 22 ships and 16 defense platforms. Thousands of humans were dead. Lord Xalthrak watched the battle from his command ship, his 4 hands gripping his control panel tightly. This was not going as planned. These humans were supposed to be primitive and weak. How had they destroyed nearly half his fleet? "Pull back," he finally ordered. "Regroup at the edge of this system." As the remaining Calthorian ships retreated, Foster allowed himself a small smile. They had survived the first wave, but he knew this was just the beginning. Susan looked out at Earth from her damaged platform. Parts of the planet were dark where power had been knocked out by Calthorian attacks. but they had held. "They'll be back," she said quietly. "And next time, they'll bring more ships." In his command ship, Lord Salthrak sent an urgent message to the Empire. "Humans more dangerous than expected. Send reinforcements immediately." 6 months passed since the first attack. Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined before. The old nations still existed, but they now worked together under the Emergency World Defense Council. President Richard Bennett led this new global government. Next to him stood General Olivia Nash, who commanded all Earth's military forces. They met in an underground bunker beneath what was once Denver. The old city above had been rebuilt with defenses hidden among regular buildings. Similar changes had happened in cities all over the world. "Status report," said President Bennett, looking at the large screen showing Earth's preparations. General Nash stepped forward. "We've converted 60% of all car factories to produce military vehicles. Steel plants now make armor and weapons. Even toy factories are making parts for communication devices." Bennett nodded. "And our space defenses. We've built 78 new defense platforms to replace the ones we lost. Our fleet has grown from 15 surviving ships to 43 combat-ready vessels." Not enough, thought Bennett. Not nearly enough if the aliens returned with a larger force. Down in a different part of the bunker, Lieutenant Kevin Hayes worked with a team of engineers. They had pieces of a downed Calthorian fighter spread across several tables. Kevin held up a strange device that glowed faintly blue. "I think this is part of their shield generator," he said. "If we can figure out how it works, we might be able to build our own." Another engineer, Samantha Green, was studying the alien metal. "This is stronger than anything we have, but I think we can copy some of its properties by changing our manufacturing process." All over Earth, similar teams worked day and night. Farms produced more food than ever before. New factories operated underground, safe from space attacks. Schools taught children about alien technology alongside regular lessons. Every adult trained with weapons for at least 2 hours each day. Parks became training grounds. Office workers learned to fire rifles. Doctors practiced treating plasma burns. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, the Calthorian Empire prepared its response to the human resistance. In his palace on the imperial capital world, Emperor Zulthaxis listened to Lord Salthrak's report. "These humans are not like other species we have conquered," Salthrak explained. "They fight with unusual determination." The Emperor's 4 arms moved in a pattern that showed his annoyance. "You failed to conquer a single planet with 30 warships. They have unexpected tactics," Salthrak defended himself. "And they learn quickly. They even manage to damage our ships." "Impossible," said one of the Imperial advisors. "Their technology is centuries behind ours." "Nevertheless," Salthrak insisted, "they destroyed 13 of our vessels." The Emperor stood up from his throne. "This is unacceptable. How many ships do you need to crush these humans properly?" "I request 10 battle fleets, Your Majesty." The room fell silent. 10 battle fleets meant 300 warships, plus support vessels. It was an enormous force, enough to conquer an entire sector of space. 10 fleets. For one primitive world. The Emperor's voice was cold. "Better to use too much force than too little," said Salthrak. "I will not fail again." After a long moment, the Emperor nodded. "You have 6 months to prepare. Take your 10 fleets. Destroy their military, capture their leaders, show them the true power of the Empire." As Salthrak bowed and left, the Emperor turned to his advisors. "Is there anything special about these humans? Anything we should know?" The chief science advisor checked his data. "Nothing remarkable, Your Majesty. They've only had space travel for about 150 years. Their weapons are primitive. Their only unusual trait is their high breeding rate and adaptability. Then they will learn to adapt to being our subjects," the Emperor said, "or they will be eliminated." Back on Earth, President Bennett met with his military commanders again. "Our spies in the outer solar system have detected unusual activity. The Calthorians are building something near Pluto. General Nash frowned. What kind of something? It looks like a jump gate, said Admiral Foster. They're creating a direct route from their territory to our system. Kevin Hayes spoke up. That means they can bring in ships without using regular faster-than-light travel. They're planning to attack with a much larger force. Bennett looked at each person in the room. Then we need to be ready. How much time do we have? 3 months, said Foster. Maybe 4. Then we'll be ready in 2, said Bennett. We have to be. The sky darkened over Earth as hundreds of Calthorian ships appeared in orbit. The jump gate near Pluto had flashed with purple light for 3 days as ship after ship came through. Now they filled Earth's sky like angry purple stars. Colonel Lisa Ward stood on the roof of what had once been a shopping mall in Oklahoma. Now it was a command center, hidden under a holographic projection of the original building. She looked up at the night sky through her binoculars. The alien ships were visible even without magnification. They're here, she said into her radio. A lot more than last time. Lisa commanded the ground forces for North America. Similar commanders stood ready on every continent. They had spent months preparing for this day. In orbit, Commander Daniel Phillips sat in the captain's chair of the UES Defiant. His ship was new, built with technology reverse-engineered from the downed Calthorian vessels. 20 similar ships formed Earth's new elite defense fleet. All ships, maintain position, he ordered. Let them make the first move. The Calthorian ships spread out across the solar system. Some took positions near Earth's moon. Others secured Mars' orbit. The largest vessels stayed back, forming a command center near Jupiter. From his flagship, Lord Salthrek observed Earth. This small blue planet had somehow resisted Imperial might. It would not do so again. Begin the attack, he ordered. Target their defense platforms first. Green energy beams lanced out from dozens of Calthorian ships. Earth's orbital defenses lit up as shields absorbed the impacts. Major Susan Clark was still in command of the defense network. Return fire, she ordered. All platforms. Earth's weapons fired back. New rail guns based on Calthorian designs shot projectiles at incredible speeds. Missile launchers emptied their tubes. Space filled with explosions as the battle began. Commander Phillips watched for his moment. When a group of Calthorian ships moved closer to Earth, chasing a retreating Earth vessel, he gave the signal. All ships, activate the new shields. Engage targets. The Defiant and its sister ships suddenly revealed their secret weapon. Their shields glowed with the same purple energy as the Calthorian defenses. When the aliens fired, the beams did much less damage. Fire everything, Phillips ordered. His fleet launched a devastating barrage. The Calthorians, not expecting such advanced weapons from humans, lost 7 ships in the first assault. But they quickly adjusted. They've improved their technology. Lord Salthrek noted with surprise. No matter. Begin landing troops. Hundreds of smaller craft detached from the larger ships and descended toward Earth. They carried thousands of Calthorian soldiers in heavy battle armor. Each alien was stronger than 3 humans and carried energy weapons that could melt through steel. In Oklahoma, Colonel Lisa Ward watched the landing ships approach. All units, take positions, she said calmly. Remember your training. The alien craft landed in fields and parks, on highways, and in city centers. Calthorian soldiers marched out, expecting little resistance from the primitive humans. They were wrong. From hidden bunkers, humans emerged with new weapons. From underground garages came armored vehicles with hybrid technology. Lissa led her forces from the front, driving a tank with a Calthorian-inspired energy cannon mounted on top. The aliens were shocked at the resistance they faced. Their first wave of troops was met with organized defense lines. When they called for air support, they found Earth's skies protected by fighters that could match their own ships in speed. The battle raged for days, then weeks. The Calthorians destroyed cities, but found humans fighting from the ruins. They took control of regions, only to face constant attacks from resistance fighters. In space, the battle went back and forth. Earth lost many ships and defense platforms, but they destroyed Calthorian vessels too. Commander Phillips used hit-and-run tactics, never staying in one place long enough for the aliens to bring their full firepower to bear. 3 months into the invasion, Lord Saul Thrak was frustrated. His forces controlled much of Earth's orbit and had footholds on every continent, but the humans refused to surrender. Instead, they fought harder each day, using new weapons and tactics they seemed to develop overnight. "These humans," he said to his officers, "are unlike any species we have encountered, but they cannot resist forever. Increase the attack. Show no mercy. This ends now." On Earth, despite heavy losses, the human defenders prepared for the next phase of battle. Lissa Ward looked at a map showing alien-controlled territory in red. "They think we're almost beaten," she said to her officers. "They have no idea what's coming next." After 3 months of brutal fighting, both sides had suffered heavy losses. Parts of Earth lay in ruins. Calthorian ships continued to control much of Earth's orbit, but they had lost over 60 vessels. The human defenders fought on, using every trick and tool they could find. Lord Saul Thrak sat in his command chair, looking at reports from the battle. His 4 arms moved restlessly as he read. This campaign was taking too long. The Emperor would be displeased. "Send a message to the humans," he finally ordered. "I will speak with their leaders." On Earth, President Bennett received the message in the new underground capital beneath the Rocky Mountains. "They want to talk," he told General Nash. "After all this destruction, now they want to talk." "It could be a trap," said the general. "Or they might be getting desperate," suggested Dr. William Turner, Earth's leading expert on alien psychology. "Either way, we should hear what they have to say." They arranged to meet at a neutral location, a platform floating on the Pacific Ocean. Both sides agreed to bring only small security teams. President Bennett arrived by submarine. General Nash and Dr. Turner came with him. A small group of soldiers provided security. The Calthorian shuttle landed on the other end of the platform. Lord Saul Thrak stepped out, along with 2 officers, but there was a 4th alien, wearing more elaborate armor with glowing symbols. "The Emperor himself," whispered Dr. Turner in surprise. "That's Emperor Zolfaxis." The aliens approached. Up close, they were even more intimidating, nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 muscular arms and skin that shifted colors slightly as they moved. "I am Emperor Zolfaxis," the lead alien announced through a translator device. "I have come to personally oversee the final phase of this campaign." President Bennett stood tall despite being much shorter than the aliens. "I am President Richard Bennett of Earth. We are prepared to discuss terms for your withdrawal from our system." The Emperor made the grinding sound of Calthorian laughter. "Withdrawal? No, we are here to discuss the terms of your surrender." "We will not surrender," said General Nash firmly. The Emperor looked at her with his large, unblinking eyes. "Your resistance has been impressive for a primitive species. But surely you see it is futile. I have committed a significant portion of Imperial forces to this campaign." Dr. Turner stepped forward. "May I ask a question? How many worlds does your empire control?" 3,417 planets across 7 galaxies, the Emperor said proudly. Turner nodded. "And what percentage of your military is here, fighting Earth?" "I have sent 10 battle fleets. It is one of the largest forces ever assembled in Imperial history." Turner looked at President Bennett and nodded slightly. Bennett pressed a button on his wrist device. A hologram appeared above the platform, showing Earth. Then it zoomed in to reveal massive facilities hidden beneath mountains, under oceans, and in remote regions. "What you are seeing," Bennett explained, "are our military production facilities. We have now activated approximately 15% of our total military capacity." The Emperor stared at the images. The hologram showed enormous underground factories producing tanks, aircraft, and weapons. It showed training camps where millions of soldiers prepared for battle. It showed shipyards hidden in asteroid belts, building new vessels. "Impossible," said Lord Salthrak. "Your species was barely space-capable when we arrived." "We adapt quickly," said General Nash, "especially when threatened." The Emperor's skin darkened, a sign of anger or concern. "This is clearly a deception. No species could mobilize so rapidly." Dr. Turner smiled slightly. "You misunderstand humans, Your Majesty. What you faced so far is largely our standing military, the small percentage of our population traditionally dedicated to defense. When truly threatened, humans can convert our entire industrial base to war production in a matter of months." "We don't want to fight," added President Bennett, "but we will defend our world with everything we have, and we have barely begun to show what we can do." The Emperor looked at the holographic images again. His translator device couldn't fully capture the emotion in his voice as he turned to Lord Salthrak and asked, "You mean that wasn't their full army?" Lord Salthrak had no answer. He had never seen anything like this in all his years of conquest. "We will consider your position," the Emperor finally said. "This meeting is concluded." As the aliens returned to their shuttle, Dr. Turner whispered to Bennett, "They're shocked. They never expected this level of resistance from a single planet." "Let's hope they make the right decision," Bennett replied, watching the shuttle take off. "Because what they've seen is real. We really are just getting." 2 days after the meeting, the Kalthorians broke the ceasefire. Emperor Zulfaxis, unwilling to believe humans could mobilize so quickly, ordered a massive assault on all fronts. It was a fatal mistake. Kalthorian dropships descended on major cities worldwide, their main fleet positioned for a final orbital bombardment. The Emperor watched from his flagship, expecting the humans to crumble under the show of overwhelming force. "Let them see what real power looks like," he told his commanders. "Begin the attack." But as the alien ships moved into position, alarms blared across the Kalthorian fleet. "Multiple new contacts detected," reported a sensor officer. "Hundreds of them, rising from Earth's oceans and from hidden bases in the mountains." Admiral Nicol Edwards sat in the command chair of the UES Vengeance, Earth's newest and largest warship. It had been built in secret beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Now it rose from the waves, along with 50 similar vessels. They were smaller than the largest Kalthorian ships, but incorporated stolen alien technology alongside human innovations. "All ships, launch when ready," Nicol ordered. "Operation Counterattack begins now." Across Earth, hidden doors opened in mountainsides. Concealed hangar bays activated under what looked like empty farmland. Hundreds of aircraft and spacecraft lifted off. Some were small fighters, others heavy bombers. All carried weapons designed specifically to target Kalthorian weaknesses. On the ground, Lieutenant General Ryan Cooper coordinated the global land assault. He stood in a mobile command center that moved constantly to avoid detection. "All units, execute Plan Delta," he ordered. "Hit them from all sides." From underground bunkers emerged tanks, troop carriers, and mobile artillery. The new vehicles were hybrids of human and Kalthorian technology. They moved faster than the aliens expected and carried weapons that could penetrate Kalthorian armor. In orbit, Admiral Edwards led her fleet toward the largest concentration of enemy ships. The Kalthorians fired first, green energy beams slicing through space. Some Earth ships were hit, but their new shields, copies of Kalthorian technology, absorbed much of the damage. "Return fire," Nicol ordered. "All weapons." The Earth fleet unleashed their main weapons. These weren't simple copies of alien technology. Human engineers had studied the Kalthorian designs and improved them. The new weapons fired blue-white beams that seemed to bypass the alien shields entirely. 3 Kalthorian capital ships exploded in the first volley. The others tried to regroup, but Earth's smaller vessels were faster and more maneuverable. They darted between the larger enemy ships, firing at weak points identified during months of studying downed Kalthorian vessels. On his flagship, Emperor Zulfaxis watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They are just one planet." Lord Salthrak had no answer. The tactical displays showed new human forces appearing everywhere. Their ships moved in formations the Kalthorians had never seen before. Their ground troops used tactics that seemed to change by the hour. "We must withdraw and regroup," Exalthrak finally suggested. The Emperor's skin darkened with rage. "The Empire does not retreat from primitives." "Your Majesty, we are losing ships faster than they are. Their new weapons." A violent explosion rocked the flagship. Warning alarms blared. "Direct hit to our main drive," reported an officer. "Shield generators failing." On Earth, General Cooper watched the orbital battle through a live feed. His ground forces were pushing the Kalthorians back on every continent. The alien troops, expecting to face simple human weapons, were unprepared for the hybrid technology now deployed against them. "They're breaking," reported Colonel Lisa Ward from her sector. "The aliens are falling back to their landing sites." In Chicago, a Kalthorian commander ordered his troops to hold their position in the ruins of downtown. But the humans attacked from underground tunnels, using weapons that disrupted the aliens' communications. Cut off from their fleet and surrounded, the Kalthorian forces began to surrender. Admiral Edwards directed her fleet to target the Emperor's flagship. "Focus all fire on the command vessel. Don't let it escape." The Emperor watched as Earth ships surrounded his crippled vessel. His mighty invasion force, 10 battle fleets of the Empire, was being systematically destroyed by a single planet. "Begin emergency jump preparations," he ordered. "We must return to Imperial space immediately." As his damaged flagship limped away from Earth, the Emperor received the most shocking news yet. His sensor officer reported with trembling voice, "Your Majesty, we're detecting new human ships launching from their moon base. And there are more rising from Mars." The Kalthorian forces fell into chaos as their Emperor's flagship retreated. Without central command, their coordinated attack broke down into separate battles across Earth and in orbit. The human defenders pressed their advantage. Captain Hither Campbell led a team of 20 Special Forces soldiers on their most dangerous mission yet. Their target was a Kalthorian command ship that had been damaged in the battle but remained operational. Unlike most alien vessels that were retreating, this one held position near Earth's moon. "Intelligence says this ship contains the Empire's navigation data," Heather told her team as their small craft approached. "If we can capture it intact, we'll have maps to their entire territory." Her team wore new armor based on Kalthorian designs, but modified for human use. They carried weapons that fired both bullets and energy pulses. Each soldier had trained for months for space combat. "Prepare to board," Heather ordered as their ship silently docked with a much larger alien vessel. Inside the Kalthorian command ship, most of the crew focused on repairing battle damage. They never noticed the small human craft attaching to their hull. The first warning came when explosions ripped through their security doors. Heather led her team through the alien corridors, moving quickly and silently. When they encountered Kalthorian soldiers, they used stun weapons developed specifically for the aliens' biology. They didn't want to damage the ship or its data systems. "Command center should be ahead," said Sergeant Paul Wright, checking a scanner that showed the ship's layout. They had studied captured Kalthorian vessels and knew the standard design. The aliens finally realized they were being boarded. Alarm sounds echoed through the ship as Kalthorian troops rushed to defend the command center. Heather's team took cover as energy blasts flew down the corridor. "Nelson, Jones, use the flash grenades," Heather ordered. 2 soldiers tossed small devices that exploded with blinding light, specifically tuned to affect Kalthorian vision. The aliens stumbled, temporarily blind, as the human team rushed forward. The battle for the command center was brief but intense. When it ended, Heather stood over the ship's captain, a high-ranking Kalthorian officer. "Your ship is ours now," she told him through a translator. "Tell your crew to surrender, or we will be forced to use more aggressive methods." The alien captain looked at the human soldiers with their captured Calforian weapons and hybrid armor. His skin turned a pale blue color that indicated shock or fear. "How?" he asked simply. "How did your primitive species do this?" Heather didn't answer. Instead, she ordered her tech specialist to download all the ship's data. Within hours, Earth had complete navigational information for the Calforian Empire's territory. Meanwhile, Emperor Zolthaxus barely escaped as his flagship limped away from Earth. Half his escort ships had been destroyed covering his retreat. Now he sat in his private chamber, watching reports of the disaster unfold. "Final count shows we've lost 187 ships," reported Lord Salthrak, "almost 2/3 of our invasion force." "How?" demanded the Emperor. "How could one primitive planet do this?" A science officer stepped forward nervously. "Your Majesty, we've been analyzing their tactics and technology. It appears the humans have an unusual ability to rapidly adapt and innovate. They took our technology, studied it, and improved upon it in mere months." "That's impossible," said the Emperor. "Such advancements should take years, even decades." "There's more," continued the science officer. "Our latest intelligence indicates something disturbing. The human forces we've encountered appear to be what they call their standing army, the small percentage of their population traditionally dedicated to military service." "What does that mean?" asked Axalthrak. "It means," said the science officer, "that they haven't even begun full mobilization. In human history, when they fight total wars, they convert their entire industrial base to military production and train significant portions of their population for combat." The Emperor's skin turned almost white with shock. "Are you saying they could field an even larger force?" "Potentially many times larger, Your Majesty. Their population is over 8 billion. If they mobilized even 10% for military service, their army would outnumber our entire imperial force." The Emperor sat in stunned silence. In thousands of years of imperial expansion, they had never encountered a species like this. The concept of converting an entire civilization to war production was alien to the Calforians. Their society, stable for millennia, had never needed such measures. "Send word to the Imperial fleet," he finally ordered. "All forces are to withdraw from human space immediately. We must reconsider our approach to this." 1 year passed since the failed Calforian invasion. Earth had changed forever. Using captured alien technology, humanity expanded rapidly into space. The jump gate near Pluto that the Calforians had built was now under human control. It allowed Earth ships to travel to distant star systems in days instead of years. Dr. Eric Johnson led the scientific team adapting faster-than-light travel for human ships. He stood in a large laboratory filled with both human and Calforian technology. "The principles are actually quite simple once you understand them," he explained to a group of new engineers. "The aliens have been using this technology for so long they stopped improving it. We've already made it 30% more efficient. In orbit around a planet 12 light-years from Earth, Governor Patricia Wilson watched as construction robots built the first human colony on a former Calforian outpost. The aliens had abandoned it during their retreat, leaving behind valuable equipment and buildings. Schedule shows we'll be ready for the first 5,000 settlers next month," her assistant reported. Patricia nodded. "Make sure the defense systems are installed first. We don't want any surprises." Earth had learned its lesson. Every new outpost, ship, and colony came with strong defenses. But humans weren't just preparing for war. They were also reaching out to the galaxy. On a massive space station at the edge of what had been Calforian territory, Ambassador Gregory Martinez prepared for the most important meeting in human history. The Galactic Council, an assembly of 37 spacefaring civilizations, had finally agreed to hear Earth's case. "Remember," he told his team, "we're not just representing Earth anymore. We speak for all human colonies." The council chamber was enormous, with seats for representatives from across the galaxy. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. Floating clouds of gas, crystalline beings, creatures with tentacles or multiple heads. The Calthorian delegation sat at their traditional place of honor. Their new emperor, Zolfaxis' successor, watched the humans with unblinking eyes. "This council recognizes the representatives from Earth," announced the council leader, a tall being with silver skin. "State your business." Gregory stepped forward. "Earth requests formal recognition as a spacefaring civilization with all rights and protections under galactic law. We also seek reparations from the Calthorian Empire for their unprovoked attack on our world." The Calthorian representative stood up angrily. "These humans are dangerous expansionists. In just 1 year, they have seized Imperial territory and built weapons of war. They must be contained before they threaten galactic peace." Gregory remained calm. "We have only occupied worlds the Calthorians abandoned. As for our military, it exists solely for defense." "A lie," said the Calthorian. "Our intelligence reports show humans building hundreds of warships. They prepare for war even now." "We prepare to defend ourselves," Gregory corrected. "Given recent history, can you blame us?" The council debated for hours. Some species sympathized with Earth. Others feared this new, rapidly advancing civilization. The Calthorians pushed for restrictions on human expansion. Finally, Gregory had enough. He activated a hologram showing Earth's continuing military buildup, huge fleets of ships, millions of trained soldiers, weapons platforms that could destroy entire fleets. "What you see here represents less than 20% of Earth's current military capacity," he explained calmly. "We don't want war. We never did. But if threatened again, we will defend ourselves." The council chamber fell silent. "Is this a threat?" asked the Calthorian representative. Gregory shook his head. "Not at all. It's simply information you should have when making your decision. Earth wants peaceful trade and cultural exchange. We would prefer to use our resources for exploration and discovery, not war." He looked directly at the Calthorian. "But if anyone attacks us again, they should be prepared to face humanity's full response, not just our rapid reaction force." The council whispered among themselves. Many had heard stories of the human-Calthorian war, how one planet had defeated an imperial armada, how humans had reverse-engineered alien technology and improved it within months. "This council will recess to consider Earth's petition," the leader announced. As the human delegation left the chamber, an alien counselor with 4 arms whispered to another, "Thank the stars they want peace. Can you imagine if they decided to conquer rather than explore?" His companion shuddered. "Let's make sure they never have reason to. I've heard enough about human wars to last a lifetime." Gregory smiled as he led his team back to their ship. Earth had found its place among the stars, not through conquest or intimidation,